it's not that I don't like Sesko. It's just the risk of going for someone like Sesko over Gyokeres is frustrating. Win now or players will leave soon. Double A, do you understand that frustration or concern from Gooners when they say that?
Yeah, I think so. I think Sesko, for me, it doesn't massively excite me, but maybe it's a player that I've not ever wanted at United, so maybe it's that's the case. But I just think Gyokeres is the one. It's just how someone's not already snapped him up this quick. I do not know. And like we're saying, if he has no options, maybe United is the only place for him to go. He said he wants Champions League, but there's no Champions League clubs for him. What else is he going to do if he wants to come and test himself in a top 5 league? I think we might be the only club that can offer him that in terms of the Premier League. I think Arsenal should be. I really do not understand how Arsenal haven't sorted this for 60 million and for what he could offer them. I think he's everything that they need. Just top class striker.
I think Gyokeres is better, but I think Sesko actually suits Arsenal better than Gyokeres. He's taller. He tends to play better off of players like Saka and Havertz rather than go in and take up the space where they play. I just think he's a better choice for them, and I think it develop there. But I also get if they don't win now, the likes of Saliba are going to be looking. So do they have the time to wait until it develops to be that good? I don't know.
For the price as well, Kate, do you not think it'd be another Haaland with the price as well?
It should be. I mean, the price is
so much on him, putting so much on his shoulders so young. We've seen it. So many strikers come and flop because of that price tag. It's a big risk.
It was valued originally, I think, about 65 million. It's just gone up and up and up and up. And
it's ridiculous money. Arsenal could have signed Sesko for 50 million on a clause, and they didn't, and now they're paying double. God, absolute madness.
I've just never seen it with Sesko, I'll be honest.
Same guy.
No, I agree.
Everything I see with Sesko is like what I saw when we were looking at Nunes. Sesko doesn't finish. Sesko hits the ball. He doesn't finish.
Yeah, but the only thing I would say, is Benjamin Sesko is a much better striker of the ball than Nunes. He hits the ball. Again, you can find you'll be able to find comps of him messing things up because that exists for R9, that exists for Messi, but he hits a ball. He's got a very clean strike of the ball, Sesko, which Darwin, in fairness to Darwin Nunes, though, when he was at Benfica, he was hitting the ball a lot better than he was when he came to Liverpool. And that's about handling the pressure. And but you can't just do those comparisons, though. I get why you're doing it, but football doesn't always work like that. Some people go up a level when they move to a higher level. You see it I see it in fighting all the time. There could be a guy that's he's a good fighter at Bellator. He's come to the UFC. Can he handle it? And they almost up their game. They talk about people that could become champions, fighters. Most athletes who become a champion and win a medal, they often say there's something like a 10 to 15% increase for a 2 to 3 year period in their output, the amount of fights they win or races they win. Football teams sort of do this. So sometimes getting that move to a bigger stage can help someone. Other times, like Nunes, I think it could make you shrink. And the only thing I won't give an opinion on is I don't know what his psyche's like. I don't know enough about him. Does that make sense? But there's certainly a player in there. You know, there's a player in there. I still think they should. I get where Kate's coming from. I still think Arsenal should be going with Victor Gyokeres. I think he's such a phenomenal striker. I really do.
Gyokeres has everything. You could give Gyokeres any sort of chance, and you could back him to score. Benjamin Sesko. Whenever I've watched him, I've never had any confidence with him when the ball's in the box. He's not this kind of fox. He's not this guy who, if the ball drops, I think he's going to finish it. He's not this guy who, if he's battling away with defenders, he's gonna find, by any way or shape, get his foot on the ball and score. Sesko was inconsistent.
But he's 21.
He is, but
he's only got 13 goals this season. They've not even made Europe, Leipzig.
The thing that gets me is that there's a big part of his game which I just don't. For a striker, you need to be able to finish, and Benjamin Sesko hasn't shown me a good enough level of finishing yet.
And the bigger picture to this as well.
He signed for Leipzig, and they've sacked 3 managers since he's been.
I think the bigger picture for Arsenal as well. They need a striker to come in and win them something. I think they're in that danger zone now. I think Arteta's in his last season. If you don't win anything, he's gone. I think on the risk that on a 21-year-old who scored again, similar to Delap, scored 13 goals. Is he moving the needle to get them over the line? And not just in the league. You know, they need to take the League Cup.
I think you said it best, Kate, as well. You know, William Saliba's not going to sit there with Real Madrid sniffing around going, I'll give Sesko 3 years to figure it out.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what's wild as well, Kate? Someone's just put in the chat. What about Gyokeres going to Tottenham? Tottenham in the Champions League. Like, no one's talking about Tottenham.
He wants to win
Why isn't anyone talking about Tottenham signing big players? They're in the Champions League and they got money.
Yeah, well, that would be a dream, but we know Daniel Levy don't tend to work that way. But I'm not saying anything about that. But I was just going to say Sesko's 6'5" as well, so it'd be great for Arsenal with their set pieces, and he's better in defence as well than Gyokeres. But look, I hope whoever they buy, whichever one they want, is a flop. So, but I just personally think Sesko is better for Arsenal. But it's how long it's going to take him to get them over the line.
And this is the thing for me as well, though, right? So hang on a minute. Plattenberger's just tweeted something as well. What's it saying? Arsenal, Benjamin Sesko, deal on. Arteta wants him. And this is the thing. I think there's one or two things here that are going to come out. And this is why I think Bert's doing a good job for Arsenal so far in terms of, seems like he's here, there, and everywhere, talking to people, trying to work on deals. It feels like one of two things. Mikel Arteta has got his way and has convinced the club Sesko's the man to make the football I'm trying to play work best. I think that's a good thing in the sense of there's nowhere to go. If he comes in and scores 8 league goals and you don't win the league or you're not winning trophies, there's nowhere for that man to go. He's almost sort of like signed his own redundancy in that way. But to this super chat from Ahmed, you know, maybe the reason they've now gone for Sesko is because they've been told by Gyokeres, look, he loved the offers, but actually a bigger team or a team that's close to it, maybe a PSG, maybe a Liverpool, maybe a Real Madrid has come in for Gyokeres. We just don't know about it yet. And Arsenal have had to shift gears. So I always think it's important sometimes to wait for the dust to settle before people lose their minds. A bit like us, Double A. Can you imagine the United fans going mad today over the lap, and then there's a here we go tomorrow morning for Gyokeres? It's a very hypothetical. You'd sit there and go, oh, actually, you know, that's why I'm waiting till the end of the window before I lose my shit with Ineos, because I'll be honest with you, I just don't want the clips out there of me.
There'll be people who know anyway.
I'm being cautious.
There'll be people who know about that anyway, though, because they go, why was the lap our top target over Gyokeres? Why did we want the lap over Gyokeres?
But do you not think Ineos have really got to clear out the deadwood first to generate money to be able to spend and then mop up the crumbs that are left at the end of the transfer window?
That's also it. That's also it. But equally, though, this is why, again, I look at Gyokeres as a market opportunity, because he's available for 55 million. That's 25 million pounds more than the lap. If we had the cash to do that outright, we could I'm happy for the club to take a risk of spending an extra 25 million now to get a deal like that secured, get the contract done, and then sell some players later. I also think it makes it easier to sell players when you bring a player like Gyokeres in, because you're saying, look, he's a really good attacker, but we've just got someone that's better now. But look, we'll see with this one. I've got a few super chats here before I bring up a tweet I want to get your opinions on, guys. Why would Arsenal pay £93 million when he has a release clause of 75 million euros? It's a really good question. I don't have the answer. I'm sure the panel don't. I'm only going
bonuses as well, I would say.
I'm pretty sure his release clause expired.
Yeah, there might be an expiry. Something along those lines.
51 million in January, and Arsenal didn't do it, but they'll pay double now.
Yeah. Wayne here says Sesko's conversion rate is 29% and overperforms his XG by 5.98. We have to be. If we're going to be, you know what? Where we have to be fair as a panel is you man didn't want Ekatike because he underperforms his XG. The man's overperforming his XG. That's a positive, right?
But right, Terry, hear me out on this.
Okay,
Ekatike has underperformed his XG and got over 20 goals. He's overperformed his XG by 6 and got 13 in the league.
See, again, this is everyone reads it. I agree. It's a great
also
pushback.
like Cunha, by the way.
But I look at it this way, though. I look at it this way. Will Arsenal create more goal-scoring opportunities than Leipzig?
Probably. Yeah,
and I think that's what, again,
also, they probably play with two strikers, don't they, as well, Leipzig, compared to Arsenal will only play with one. Because the Pender's been playing. So.
It's a very good challenge. Also recognize that Leipzig is one of the least creative teams in the entire Bundesliga statistically. He's doing what he's doing in an awful situation. Yeah, put like a little, as I say to anyone who's watching from Napoli, just like our Rasmus, if you guys create for him, he'll score you loads of goals. I promise Promise.
But do you not think the beauty of a striker in the Premier League is one that can make something out of nothing? Like that's the ones that really sort of grab the attention in the Premier. I feel like Isak's that type of player.
Well, Isak is that kind of player. That's why I actually like, and I'm not saying we're getting them. It's why I like the links to Gyokeres and Mbomos and Cunha's. They score loads of goals that are not tap-ins and one-on-one. They score a lot of goals where they drop a shoulder, beat a man, and bury it. The lap will bring that to Chelsea. A lot of his goals are not exactly. The kids will say high XG. There, it's him edge of the box, drops a shoulder. And
he was in the bottom 40th percentile for passes received the lap. So all of his goals, by like a very few amount, have been through his own self.
Yeah. What is the point of Berta? Look, we'll see. I don't. Again, I would say if I was an Arsenal fan right now, I'd say relax a little bit to begin with. Having said that, there's been a lot of Arsenal fans who haven't wanted Gyokeres this whole time, and I'm only going by when we've done the stories on him that have come out, and we're only reporting what the media is saying and getting opinions. I would say a good 40% of the Arsenal fans that have commented on our videos have been like, I don't really want Gyokeres. I don't like this. I don't like that. I don't like the other. A lot wanted Sesko. So there'll be some that are disappointed. There'll be some Arsenal fans that will be happy with this. Depends on what side. No Europe and Cunha is joining us. The pool is still there, is what Ronnie says. Nav just says because Spurs are shit. No offense, is what Nav says here. YF me is what Kate's saying. When I saw a midfielder have better attributes as a striker than Rasmus, I knew he was cooked. We splashed 77 million on a 10-goal player based off one season, and everybody is shocked by this. We need to buy on guarantee. Oh yeah, it was close to agreed, Joshua Jack, as close to a guarantee as possible. Joining late, is today the panel open for people who want to be joining? When I do the phone-in shows during the day, like earlier, that's when they're open. Like top 6 shows and straight fact shows are closed panel. But match reactions, the done deal shows, when I just go live randomly, they're always open for call-ins, my bro. But thank you for the super chat. Thank you. Which is why I came here from Carefree Lewis's chat. Big up Carefree Lewis. Hope you are well. Confused by the Sesko hate. The talent is unquestionable. He has improved every year. People are focused on Gyokeres' numbers instead of the full play. As I say, there's quite a lot of Arsenal fans that think like this as well.
The thing is, though, you have that full play striker in Havertz, and all I hear is he doesn't score enough goals, meaning a striker who scores goals. All you're doing with Sesko is getting another guy who does the same things as Havertz for like a marginal goal increase, and go, I'll be hearing the same issues next year. Why is my striker not scoring enough goals? The reason people are going on about Gyokeres is because we were told by Arsenal fans, look at how many chances we create and no one puts them in the back of the net. Let's go buy someone who puts them in the back of the net. It's not like we were sitting there this year going, you know what Arsenal need? They need their striker to link up. That's what their striker doesn't do. He doesn't link up. No, he does. That's all their striker does. So they obviously need someone to put the ball in the net. That's why I'm confused about the Sesko one, because Sesko doesn't do that good enough.
You know why they signed a Sesko, though? Because Arteta needs players that are malleable. He needs players that he can control. Like, he takes so much flair out of those players and so much of what they're really good at. And, he'll only last another year for me.
This was the first news that came out like 20 minutes ago. See if it's true. Something to do with the agent pulling out an Arsenal. Well, it's interesting that you've said that Chelsea and the Gyokeres deal, and now Arsenal are looking at Sesko. This is what I would say about people just jumping to the conclusion that Arteta has changed Berta's mind. I think it's fair. What could have happened is that Chelsea have changed Gyokeres' mind, and now Arsenal are forced. And that's why I think, look, banter is fair, and I get fans want to do it, but I think it's important to wait for the dust to kind of settle. I know that it didn't work out for Liverpool, but when Liverpool signed Darwin Núñez, Man United was so close to getting that deal done. There were so many journalists in Portugal and in England that were saying everyone feels like it's going to happen. Then Liverpool came in and turned his head, and it doesn't make all those stories prior fake. Like I think we have to be more mindful of that as fans. We really, really do.